poet sang this song to me. There was a message in its melody, sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day. Living is the only way. Tomorrow's gonna ever come. Listen to the words of the song. Everything gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be.
Greetings and welcome to A Sip of Inspiration. My name is Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, known as the Empowerment Doctor, and I am your host for tonight's show. Tonight I thought we'd have a little bit of fun mixed in with some seriousness, and we talk a bit about what my friends are calling spiritual housekeeping. We were sitting around the other night and we were discussing New Year's resolutions. We were discussing all manner of things, and we came up with, what do you need to do in order to live the life that you've imagined? Now, I have a couple of quotes that I want to share with you because I think that in these quotes lies some key information, and we're going to discuss some of them. The first one is by Pantahali, which is, when you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. The next quote that I think that perhaps we should begin to live by is by George Bernard Shaw, that says, imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and at last you create what you will. And from Alice in Wonderland, it says, I believe in as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. There are a few keys that we discovered in these quotes that will help you when you start off to live the life that you've imagined. And we're going to call them spiritual housekeeping because we know at this time of year we all have some to do. The first thing I want to discuss is it's all perception. And the perception begins in our belief and our thoughts about what we believe to be true. You see, any problem that we encounter in our lives right now at this point is not because there is not a solution. I believe is because we just lack the imagination. We have become hard and fixed, and we've put ourselves in these boxes, and we believe that the only thing that is true or even possible is the things that we know about. But I want to challenge you to expand your imagination. When you expand your imagination, the next question I get is, how do I do that? I want you to start right now in this moment to begin to live in the place where your blessings are. Begin to live your life in the presence of God, as opposed to the absence of God. What we find ourselves doing all too often is complaining about all the things that we have to do. We complain about doing the dishes. We have to go to work. We're not happy about that. So I want to challenge you as you begin this new journey of living the life that you imagine to begin to see absolutely everything in your life as an opportunity to express the best self that you are, and also as an opportunity to expand your horizons. I want you to remember that scientifically, there are about 6 possible solutions and 6 possible ways to resolve any issue that you may have in your life right now. So, if you've come up with 1 or 2, you're doing a pretty good job. But I want you to push yourself until you can reach that 6. And then, only then will you be able to find the magic that exists in the situation. Also, begin to see any situation that you're in, any event, as a learning opportunity. Don't be so quick to judge things as good or bad. I know you've heard all of that before, and you're going to hear it again tonight. But all you simply do is start to ask the question, what am I to learn from this? When you start looking at the very events in your life as a learning opportunity, you will find that there are golden nuggets throughout that experience, and that those situations have actually come to prepare you for the life that you want to live. There's a story like, imagine that the very thing that you want is like across the river, but the river is deep and rough. And in order to get there, you either have to learn to build a bridge or you've got to learn to swim. And suppose you don't know how to do either. Well, I think it's about time for you to learn, because what it is you need is on the other side of the river for a reason. Because perhaps, maybe you do need to learn to build a bridge, or you do need to learn to swim. I want to remind the listeners at home that this is a call-in show. The number is on the screen. It is 312-738-1845. And as usual, we welcome your questions. The next thing is, if you're having a particularly rough time, and no matter what you do, it seems like nothing's going right. For love or money, you just can't seem to catch a break. I want you to practice gratitude and appreciation. And of course, the next thing I usually hear is, oh my God, well, I'm grateful. But I want you to make a game out of it. You see, we have so much to be grateful for, and we often forget. And there are people and things that we have to be grateful for that we're not even aware of. So for instance, when you get up in the morning, just be thankful that you woke up, because you did not wake yourself up. You didn't create the legs that you're going to use to get out of bed and to go about your day. You didn't create the feet either, nor did you create the heartbeat, nor do you have to remind yourself that you have to breathe. So I want you to practice gratitude and appreciation and try to find, 15, 20, 30 things a day to be grateful for. Hi, we have a caller on the line. Good evening. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
That's great. I am so inspired by what you're saying. I need to lose weight. And so I'm going to use your How to Live in Your Dream, I think you said. I'm not quite sure.
Yes, you're going to live the dream that you imagine. So let's
yes,
talk about the weight loss.
I'm inspired by it. Now, can you give me a step or two that'll get me started?
Okay. The first thing that you need to do, and it is not only in weight loss, but in just about anything that you want to manifest. So we're not going to lose the weight, because you can't lose things. What we're going to do is we're going to release the need for the weight. Generally, when you find yourself either overweight or underweight, that's kind of a sign that you were needing some extra protection and comfort when you were going through some difficult experiences.
That's very true.
Okay, so it's not the weight that actually needs to be dealt with. It is the things that have happened that have caused you to develop this extra protection. Okay? So I want you to first start by, in your mind, I want you to imagine the size that you want to be, your perfect size.
Okay.
Okay? And I don't want you to talk about, most of us say, I thank God for losing 20 pounds. No, I want you to be thankful for your perfect weight.
Okay.
Okay? So that's what you're to say. I'm grateful for my perfect weight. Thank you for my perfect weight. And if you know what that is, or your perfect size, then say what that is. Okay? Because you have to switch from the negative conversation to the positive conversation. Because remember, we live in this great universe, and in this universe, it does not know or cannot differentiate between positives and negatives. So when we say, I want to lose a certain amount of weight, what it hears is just the amount of weight. So it's a little bit confused. It doesn't know if you want to lose it or gain it. So nothing happens. So I want you to start looking at that. The other thing that I want you to do, which is probably the more important thing, is at the time in your life when you started to gain the weight, I want you to look at what was going on in your life. Okay?
Okay.
And then I want you to do a technique that I call soul journaling, or that's called soul journaling. I want you to sit down with a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be a fancy piece of paper, and a pencil. And I want you to write down what was going on in your life.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And I want you to write down the question, what was I thinking? What do I need to learn? And what quality is trying to be born in me.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Because a lot of times I have found in my own personal experience, especially when I'm either losing too much or gaining too much or spending too much or not spending enough, is because there's an issue there that's going on in my life, and what I need to do is practice more forgiveness. Okay? And forgiveness is a tough one for most people, and even me is really tough for. So that's what I want you to start to do. And what you will find is once you're able to actually look at the situation and let it go, release it, forgive it, let it go.
Okay, how do you do that?
Now, there are several ways to do that, okay? One of my favorite ways is, and one of the things I do is I will write down the situation that I need to release, and then I will set it on fire. I have my own personal, what's called a burning bowl, okay? Fire is fire makes a great impression on me. So I burn it up, and that symbolizes that you're burning that up, and that's gone from your